This that like the fraud going on in Minnesota, we're finding out so much. It's in Ohio, it's in a whole bunch of places. President Trump keeps saying it's going to be, it's okay, they can probably do it. President Trump keeps saying it's so much more in California, like the worst over here. And we just got to keep hitting it hard, keep creating more positions for the fraud positions. And bottom line is,
Scott, can you hold on for questions?
oh, sorry.
Yeah, are you ready for questions yet?
Oh,
Yeah, I'll take, in fact, let me say one thing, we'll go into questions.
Yes, yes.
And I'm pretty sure there's a few out there. And that's something I do that unfortunately very few elected people do, is actually just answer questions. Without filters or without, dodging things. You ever caught a member of the Board of Supervisors on an unfiltered question? You never will. Same thing with the mayor. Oh, that one time, remember? Coming back from Ghana in the airport?
Yes.
That's what they look and sound like.
Yes.
Deer in the headlights, oh my God. But I'll tell you this, robbing a bank nets a robber some money, but it's fraught with a lot of peril. Get caught, get shot. So the career prospects of bank robbers are not very good. It's so much easier to get an elected office or get your buddy in elected office to just give you the money. Hence, welcome to the fraud of the 21st century, which is the nonprofit world. So with that, questions? Yes, ma'am.
Yes. What is the purpose of all of this miscommunication?
Miscommunication by who?
By all of the agencies who's not communicating with each other, who's not communicating with us, and who's not communicating with you?
Well, when there's miscommunication, that means they got something to hide. So the goal is to prevent you from knowing the information. And I'll give you a classic example. You mentioned about crime reports. When I was in office, we issued them every month to every single contract city, like clockwork. Here's another one you're going to laugh at. Well, actually, this one you might, because this affects you directly, each and every one of you. League of Contract Cities, or Contract Cities, what's the name of it?
It's contract cities.
Contract cities.
California contract cities.
They measure police effectiveness by response times. There's three categories. Emergency response, lights and sirens, someone's life is in danger. Priorities, okay, it looks like someone's beating up somebody. And report calls or routine calls. Those three categories. We measure them faithfully, year after year. Stations brag to each other about how we do it better than you do. I mean, it's a very competitive thing and it's easy to measure. Okay, got the call, how quick did the cop get there to stop whatever was happening? Those three categories, as soon as Luna took office, it came to a grinding halt and they don't measure them anymore.
No kidding.
The result is the response times have probably more than doubled. When you have less deputies on the street, less deputies at the station, less detectives, less complaint desk people, they just don't count anymore. You're not supposed to know that. Remember the whole bail reform in the cashless bail system? You heard about that, right?
Yeah.
That was a lawsuit that went to trial in August of 2023. Luna, Moore, LAPD chief at the time, Gascon, all three of them were defendants. All three of them no-showed.
Disgusting.
And the plaintiff won by default.
Disgusting.
So the very woke, very PC presiding judge of the Superior Court crafted this cite and release, basically the catch and release system, cite and release, book and release, or magisterial review. And that's how we have the system in place today. Do you know what the results of that are? How many people show up after being cited out for a felony? You don't know, right? Because you're not supposed to know. This is how you're kept in darkness. Because all these systems fail spectacularly. And how do we know they fail? Well, we know just anecdotally, obviously people are not going to court. But Yolo County, this is weird, of all places, Yolo County way up north, they had a similar experiment, but they released the results. Catastrophic. So you can only imagine a far larger system like ours, it ain't working. Again, you're not supposed to know the results. Sir?
Thank you. All right. What is your stance regarding Senate Bill 54, and what kind of a relationship will you have with the federal government regarding immigration, illegals, and the jails?
Very good question. Senate Bill 54 is a state bill, California Values Act, and it actually mandates cooperation with local jails and ICE when it comes to certain categories of inmates,
Okay.
which I think is a compromise of sorts between two competing interests. As sheriff, you're responsible for 10 million residents, not 9 million, and to hell with the other 1 million. No, you actually, because it's public safety. You have to cooperate with ICE to the degree we have the 647,000, criminal aliens in our custody. If we have in our custody, let's give them to them. But something people are unaware of is we don't have the legal authority to detain someone based on an ICE detainer. It has to be based on a criminal warrant. We were sued, it was a class action lawsuit, and we lost our ass on that because it goes back to the US Constitution. You cannot detain except based on probable cause. And that's where we lost the case. It was Gonzalez versus County of LA. And as a result of that, the detainers are useful in terms of identifying somebody we have in our custody, but once the local charges are done, this is where the cooperation thing is important. We have to tell ICE, hey, you know what, this guy is done local charge and he's gonna be released on this date. Pick him up if you want, but if you don't pick him up, we can't hold him for you. He walks out the door. So that's where we got the cooperation between the two. And I think it's working out.
Okay.
Big props to Bill Asaley, the Assistant U.S. Attorney, because when he took office, he started getting the criminal arrest warrants for people in our custody.
You can allow ICE back in. You'll allow them in.
Yeah, we've always allowed them in
Okay.
with a warrant. They've always had that ability with a warrant. Sir?
Yeah, I have a question. Have you heard about this? I don't know which PD, not here, but
Here next to
Minnesota, where the mayor or whatever said, I want our department to, if ICE comes into our city, I want them arrested.
Oh, I know exactly. That actually wasn't the mayor. That was Supervisor Lindsay Horvath.
So police with a gun are gonna arrest ICE agents with a gun? Yeah, I can see her.
The Board of Supervisors voted unanimously to declare county public spaces ICE-free zones.
Yeah.
And what did our sheriff do? As is usual, he hid under his desk, curled in the fetal position, he sucked his thumb. When he was supposed to assert unequivocally, we will not interfere with federal immigration enforcement, no matter where they are. In any place that's a public space, the county does not have the authority to basically overrule federal law and federal immigration enforcement. So that is not gonna happen. You didn't get that from the sheriff. Why? Because he's trying to play both sides and play it safe and waiting for permission from the board to tell him what to say.
Elaine, that's
Hi, two things. I retired from the court in 2018 after working 39 years as a judicial assistant for LA Superior Court. And to your point, back in the day, what he's saying is exactly what happened. If somebody was gonna get released from jail and they were here illegally, the sheriff would call ICE or whoever and say, this guy's gonna be released, do you wanna come and get him? Okay? When all that stopped, that is why ICE has to go out looking for people now. So exactly to your point, but I remember back in the day when that's exactly what happened. The other point I want to make is, I have a home in Norwalk, which is a contract city. Okay, recently my dad passed away, and because of Prop 19, I had to move to San Pedro, which is in the city of Los Angeles, which I'm case. Good response from the sheriffs. No problem in Norwalk. I have a problem, I call, sheriffs come out. Even if they're having pigs written on their coffee cups. And they're understaffed, but they still, good response time. LAPD, I went to a community police advisory board meeting. They're down so many officers that there's not enough officers to cover. Plus, they closed Harbor Division Jail. So if anybody's
Still
transported,
Still closed.
yeah, if anybody, well, they opened it and then they reclosed it again. So now if anybody gets arrested, officers off the street to transport them to 77th Division, to put them in jail so then they can be released from 77th.
It means more time away
More
from.
time away.
Do you have a question for him?
No, I just wanted
Okay,
to
one second.
reinforce his point that the difference between Alex and the sheriffs is huge.
Here's another,
Maria, next.
let me follow up on this another issue.
Maria, then Nancy.
The staffing crisis in the sheriff's department is great. You won't know about it by reading the LA Times. They'll publish about the LAPD staffing crisis, but they won't mention the one that's worse, the sheriff's.
Sheriff.
But the one advantage the sheriff's department has, at least until now, so we have 24 patrol stations, we have 24 independent 911 systems. So when she's at Norwalk and she calls 911, someone at Norwalk answers her call. LAPD has a centralized system for the entire city, and all 4 million residents has to go through a central system.
That's messed up.
And it is horrible. You get put on hold, delayed response, all that. So what does the genius currently occupying the sheriff's office want to do now? He wants to get rid of the decentralized 911 system and make it an LAPD-centric one. Why? Because he doesn't have the bodies anymore. He just thinks, well, maybe we'll just put them all in one spot and that way we'll save bodies somewhere else. No, it's an absolute nightmare. It's gonna screw over the entire county. So definitely, that's a no-go, but you're making a very good point, ma'am.
Thank you for your service, first of all. And the thing I want to find out is that a person can't be detained without a warrant. I don't think that should apply to somebody who's not a citizen. I think that the Constitution is for the people who are citizens of the United States, not people who have come here through attrition or any other way illegally. There should be no legal stance for those.
In theory, that's a good idea. However, the US Supreme Court has ruled on that again and again.
Well, they're wrong.
They are wrong.
They're wrong. They're wrong.
But we have to go by
Because
what they
that's
say.
about- But that's about the laws of our land. These people are not of our land. Do you understand that?
Oh, I understand entirely.
And so you can't tie what do you say? Tie the hands of those people who are here to enforce and protect the citizens.
I understand the sentiment, but I'm bound by what the Supreme Court rules.
And you
Yeah.
mentioned Bill Asaley, which is good. It sounds like you have a good relationship with him.
Oh, he's a good friend and,
Fantastic.
I mean,
Good
the
deal.
one that was before him, his name was Martin Estrada. Here's another story you're unaware of. When I was talking about Sheila Kuehl, and we did a 5-location search warrant. We had 40 FBI agents that were gonna assist us. The night before we were gonna execute them, they were called back by their boss saying they can't assist the sheriff's department. And we, of course, our investigators say, well, what happened? I thought we were gonna do this. Orders came from the White House. Yeah. So they actually withheld their assistance on a huge criminal investigation. That one was a tip of the iceberg for the entire nonprofit embezzlement scam. So we were way ahead of our time considering what's unfolding in Minnesota now, but we're already touching that in 2020. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Is there a regulation or an oversight, overseeing of the nonprofits? Because I contribute to nonprofits, am I contributing to a fake one or a good one?
Odds are pretty good that one of them is gonna be fake at least. There's so many that are, there's a rating system for nonprofits, but the nonprofits that get the bulk of their money coming from the public side, and they're doing something, anything to do with the homeless, I would consider each and every one suspect right off the gate. Every single one. If you have a nonprofit like the Mission, Midnight Mission on Skid Row, Dream Center, those two are nonprofits. They're run by religious entities. They're phenomenal at what they do. And if you look at their cost per bed per year, they're a fraction of what the government is spending on them because they have to feed all the nonprofit fat cats and grease all those palms. But they do it. I think it was like $85K for one bed, the one paid by the county. The Dream Center does it for $17K. That shows you the difference right there.
Damn right.
Okay, so consider them suspect right off the bat.
What can we do to keep from losing our sheriff?
How's that?
What can we do to keep from losing our sheriff? You were saying, you know,
Well,
that.
first thing is that I need to get back into office.
Okay.
2019, I hired 1,100 deputies in 1 year.
Wow.
I'm gonna hire 2,000 deputies in 2 years, and I know we're gonna do it. All right? And I just need your help.
One last question, Tej.
My question is that now since we have all these corrupt people in so many different offices, like all over, let's just say LA County for our purposes, how do we get rid of these people? I'm talking about the devil people, because they are the devil people that are doing this stuff to us. They're entrenched. How do we get rid of them?
One, we can't sit on our ass. You gotta be active. Doesn't mean you gotta go out there in the street like those fools that are trying to interfere with ICE. No. Be active in terms of using your sphere of influence. You got cell phones. You have networks. Make your own voter guides. Be very strict on who you support. But don't be afraid of supporting someone from another party if you know that person actually is gonna act on your best interest. That's the key right there. If it's a career politician, they should be dead in the water right there. If you've been in office more than 2 terms, one, I think it's called pollution sand, POS, you decide what that means. Because you're not working on behalf of the people anymore. Who are you kidding? These people have been in Congress for 20, 30, 40 years. Senators have been there their entire life. Half-dead people that were senators, then vice president, run for president, and they're a vegetable. No, they're not serving your interests. Who are we kidding?
So that's taking a lot of time though, right? To get these people out. All I'm saying is this, I just have one comment. Just like the Minnesota fraud stuff going on, insurrection, I bet you they're gonna call it. It's probably gonna happen here in LA County later, and that's how we do it. There's no other way. There's no other way.
Well, Hockman got Gascon out of office.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a registered Republican. He's been a lifelong Republican, but I'm officially a Republican. The sheriff's office is nonpartisan, so we need to start getting some wins in our column.
Yeah.
All right?
Yes.
And with that, we have to start building a culture of winning these campaigns, these elections. All right? Because the ideology, the truth is on our side. We just got to go out there and make people understand it. Educate the voters so we don't have ignorance what rules the day of
Some
election day.
cannot be educated.
Yes.
Some you cannot educate.
Hold on, Tej. I want to thank Sheriff Villanueva for almost being our sheriff. I want you to be our sheriff. Yeah. This man has done a lot more in explaining what's been going on than 10 years of the Board of Supervisors in LA County. He's talked about many things more than any other politician who's running for office, and he's not a politician.